comfortably in that game. So here we go, number 3. North Carolina wins the opening tip, and we're underway. Elliot Cadeau running the point. R.J. Davis will take the first shot, and a bit too strong. He hit 5 3-point shots against Wake Forest yesterday. He got rolling.
He did. He hit 5 of the 8. North Carolina shot it extremely well in their first game here played, where Jalen Withers made 7 of his own, 13 for the Tar Heels, but only 8 of 22 yesterday.
Over the top, intended for Lubin, batted around, and Carolina will keep it. Our officials here, Bert Smith, A.J. Desai, and Lee Cassell, for the first of our 2 semifinals tonight in Charlotte.
This matchup between Isaiah Evans and Drake Powell, these two guys, OB, were teammates for Team CP3 of the Nike EYBL, and now they're playing against each other here in the ACC tournament in the greatest rivalry in college basketball.
Cadeau calls a play. Lubin up to set a screen. 5 to get off a shot. He'll back away and fire it. And a lot of rim, but it won't drop. And a whistle, it'll go the other way.
I believe they're going to get Ben Allen Lubin on the first foul. Trying to get to the offensive glass. Kama Malawat's trying to keep him off and attracts that foul. But when you consider now Sion James, Tyrese Proctor, how the veterans have to step up in the absence of Cooper Flagg, look for both these guys to be aggressive early.
Every Duke fan in the world is saying the same thing. I'm fascinated to see how Duke looks without Cooper Flagg, but I'm not thrilled with it. Inside the first minute, Malawat will lift a long one, and a little too strong. Powell on the move. Shot clock at 15 for Cadeau. Trying to drop that pass down deep. Cadeau on the baseline. Another pass right back to Lubin for the slam.
And it's a small thing, but a great job by Elliot Cadeau with the pump fake to get the shot block, and Malawat in the air, dropping off the dime to Ben Allen Lubin to finish it off.
Duke's starting lineup. James Proctor, Knipple, who was marvelous yesterday. Evans and Malawat. Knipple coming off 28. Proctor, a little hesitation, and it drops down.
Expect to see Tyrese Proctor being very aggressive throughout this day. One of the things when you look at the Duke backcourt in comparison to North Carolina, the size allows them to be able to get into the painted area and finish.
Yeah, he was rusty yesterday, 2 for 11. Davis fighting past Proctor. Let's see how much they let him play tonight. On the bounce, Lubin, who's had an excellent tournament, lost the handle. Shot clock a factor now. Withers, a little too strong. Rebound tapped out high. Another chance for North Carolina. Davis won't wait. Batted around again. And back over to the Duke Blue Devils.
The pump fake, a lost art, as Elliot Cadeau gets amongst the tree of Kama Malawat. Just a simple pump fake, gets him in the air, allows him to drop it off. Ben Allen Lubin with the stuff.
Quick lift for Proctor, no too strong. Withers, the Charlotte native, had a big first game in the tournament. And tied up there, great job by Knipple. Able to get the hand in there, and the possession arrow in Duke's favor.
And Jalen Withers being aggressive early, but Knipple up for the challenge. Does a great job moving his feet, but more importantly, getting both hands on the basketball, forcing the tied up possession, the arrow in the Blue Devils' favor.
Yeah, not fouling. Duke looking for their 30th win of the season tonight. As Knipple slams on the brakes, Evans will toss one up there, and he's fouled on the play. In the act of shooting a 3. Big lift yesterday when Duke really needed it. Evans scored 14 off the bench.
The scouting report on Isaiah Evans absolutely has to be that he is going to shoot the basketball every time. Elliot Cadeau stepping in, and this is called a reckless closeout. in the NBA level. However, you have to give a shooter an opportunity to be able to land correctly. That is a foul by sticking that left foot underneath Evans.
Got to let him land, he's saying.
Yeah, Pat Sullivan letting Elliot Cadeau know you have to let him land. You have to give him space to be able to get both feet on the floor cleanly. That was a rule put in the game. Kawhi Leonard versus the Golden State Warriors years ago in the playoffs. Someone came underneath them, turned his ankle, changed the entire trajectory of that series, and both college basketball and the NBA have guarded that closely ever since.
You like the rule?
I absolutely love it. I mean, when you see, think about what we're talking about in this game. Cooper Flagg's not playing because of turning his ankle on someone, and that was inadvertent. So, but you still have to give that person the opportunity to be able to land cleanly.
By the way, it looks like he is dying to take that warm-up off and get in the game.
I'm going to tell you right now, he is struggling, having to watch his brothers on the floor.
And over the top for Lubin. He had a couple of monster dunks yesterday, and he's off to the races again tonight.
And Cadeau getting downhill, making the focus to be able to draw the big man and find Ben Allen Lubin. The second time they've done it so far in this game.
Knipple off the Malawat string, gets doubled up, almost lost it. Proctor to fire, around and out. Got a great look of Carolina to run. Tied at 4 in the early minutes. Foul out for Cadeau. He won't take it. Drives it instead. Kind of a wild shot, but draws the foul. Elliot Cadeau, the sophomore, on the move. He had 10 assists against Notre Dame in their first game of the ACC tournament.
Elliot Cadeau is letting it be known he is going to live in the paint throughout this game. Attacking on the DHO. If you try to go under the screen, you're going to give him an opportunity to get into the lane, drawing Malawat and throwing it up for Ben Allen Lubin, their second connection so far.
Sion James with the personal, his first. Tar Heels really played great defense yesterday, holding Wake Forest to 59 points in the quarterfinals. It's in fact the first time they've held back-to-back opponents below 60 this year.
OB, Patrick Gungba coming into the game for Kama Malawat. Malawat played the first 10 minutes straight of the matchup yesterday before they brought Malik Brown into the game. John Shire going to the bench early, getting Gungba on the floor.
The 6'11 freshman, and Malawat's the 7'2 freshman on the bench.
Malik Brown going to be over there coaching up his guys. The freshman big men competing today.
James, a determined drive, and takes a hit.
Most importantly, the second foul on Elliot Cadeau. Carolina's seen this too often this year. However, they hold a 1-point lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
Welcome back to Charlotte. Tar Heels with a 1-point edge over Duke. And as Duke entered the arena today, all eyes were on the presence of Cooper Flagg. And while he did not participate in the shoot-around with Duke today, it was reassuring to see him walking through the tunnel on his own, especially in his own shoes. So no Malik, no Coop. But for the Duke Brotherhood, they said no worries. As far as them, with them off the floor, they went 19-2 as far as their run coming into the second half in their previous game in the quarterfinals, and 6 different players scored in that span. I was speaking with Coach Shire. He said his team's heart, their character, and their competitiveness never wavers, and he doesn't expect that to change today, guys.
We look at the offensive rating, offensive and defensive, and net ranking as well when he is on and off the floor. And it pops right away, doesn't it? How different they are defensively when he's not in there.
It really is, OB. And we saw it yesterday when you consider the play before he got hurt. He blocks a shot, starts to break. Isaiah Evans makes the first 3-point field goal for Duke in that game after starting 0 of 13. After that, Cooper grabs a rebound and turns his ankle, but he's on his way. What he does, because he rebounds so well defensively, he also initiates their offense. So they're going to absolutely miss him offensively, but defensively is where he'll be missed the most.
Seth Trimble in the game here for North Carolina. 2 fouls, as you pointed out, for Cadeau. That's been an ongoing issue in the first half, hasn't it?
It absolutely has been. This is the 35th game for the Tar Heels this year. 23 times now, Elliot Cadeau has picked up 2 fouls in the first half. And early, you're talking about still 15 minutes remaining where you're going to have to play with Elliot Cadeau being very passive on the defensive end.
With your point guard off the back iron, that won't drop. James following the miss. Knipple trying to get involved with the blow by, and it won't roll in. Rebound batted around, and Davis has it. North Carolina seeking their 19th ACC Tournament Championship. Their first since 2016, trying to get into the championship game. Davis will be a big reason why if they reach it, his first bucket.
But you don't see anyone coming from the help side, OB. And we also have to mention no Malik Brown. You're talking about the 2 best defenders for the Blue Devils. So Duke will look different defensively without Cooper Flagg and Malik. No one there to challenge R.J. Davis at the rim.
Gungba downstairs, beautifully run and laid in by Proctor.
Great cut, great pass. You see Gungba with the ability to see over the top offensively and deliver a strike to Tyrese Proctor off a nice cut.
Cooper Flagg, and when he's in there, their chemistry is so tight. Man is free downstairs. Washington will slam it in. So to me, that's one of the really interesting things. How will that chemistry be affected? It has to be.
I believe it will be, but we saw a little bit of this when Cooper got poked in the eye in their last game at Cameron Indoor. But when you consider having to play a full game and game planning without Cooper on a defensive end is where he'll be missed. And we've seen it on the last couple of possessions where the Tar Heels have gotten easy buckets.
The nipple let it knocked away, pull up Pop Davis. He can't knock it down. Proctor will sling it. Back for Knipple outside the 3. Carolina fans love the defensive effort. But in the end, Duke lines up with the basket and driven in by James.
That's a nice take by Sion James. More importantly, using the pump fake. Get the shot blockers in the air. And then the easy layup. I'm sure he will be in attack mode, and you've got Washington and Gungba getting tangled up. The foul is going to go against Gungba, not allowing Jalen Washington to be able to move. Even though Gungba took the friendly fire to the face on that possession.
Yeah, watch to your left here.
You see the left arm of Gungba grabbing Washington first, and that's where the foul is called.
Gungba took a pretty good shot, too.
And the officials are going to go over and look at that. John Shire has talked to A.J. Desai. He's talked with Bert Smith about the fact that, hey, we understand that the foul is on Gungba, but the extracurricular afterwards needs to be looked at to see if there's anything to upgrade on Jalen Washington.
So watch this
play
again.
Is under review for possible flagrant.
They're looking at that for a possible flagrant.
I wouldn't be shocked if they came back and said that this was a flagrant foul. The original foul is absolutely on Gungba, but once the whistle is blown, you see the left arm come down from Jalen Washington and hitting Gungba in the head. There's a strong possibility they will come away with a flagrant foul in this possession.
Yep, would not be stunned. As Bert Smith, AJ Desai, Lee Cassell, the officials tonight get a look at our first review. Hope you'll join us tonight at 9:30. Here from Charlotte, it'll be Louisville and Clemson, two red hot teams and playing exceptional basketball, go head to head in our second semifinal. Yeah, they're getting a lengthy look at this. Patrick Gungba wound up getting kind of poked in the eye too. He's given Shire some very valuable depth this season. Even in the quarterfinals, he had 7 points in 10 minutes.
And they're going to switch positions now. Lee Cassell going to go over with Bert Smith to see the replay so that all three of the officials, as AJ Desai goes over and speaks with Hubert Davis.
What do you think this is, a tiebreaker?
I think they all have to be on the same page. They'll come together and decide what it's going to be. But just to set a precedence in this game early, and of course the officials always have to control the game, I believe you have to go flagrant one here just to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Not allowing players to feel like it's okay to have extracurricular actions, especially after the whistle's blown.
So they gather and chat, those three. And Lee Cassell, one of the rising stars in officiating, is going to come over and explain what they came up with here. So exactly 13 minutes to go here in the first half. Duke and Carolina.
And the terminology was wrong. And again, that's why I kept saying after the whistle blew. So it won't be a flagrant one foul.
After review of the previous play, we have a common foul on number 21 White from Duke. And then it's followed by a dead ball contact technical foul on number 13 from North Carolina. We will shoot 2 free throws, and Duke will take the ball out on the end line.
But it's because the whistle had already blown before Jalen Washington drops his arm and hit Patrick Gungba in the face. So now that the action is over, the whistle's already blown. That's why it's a dead ball contact technical foul in comparison to a flagrant one.
So Proctor with another one coming, 75% at the line. Really our first Duke Carolina moment of this semifinal. 6 points for Proctor.
And what happens, because it's a dead ball technical foul, the basketball now goes to Duke in comparison to the Carolina getting the basketball back after the technical foul. The possession changes, even though the common foul was on Gungba.
We had a clock on that. All of that took about 4 minutes.
So now Hubert Davis is going crazy because apparently Patrick Gungba just hit Jalen Washington in the face. I don't know if there was contact.
Powell trying to drive and kick. Jackson's outside to fire, and too strong. Knipple hitting the deck for the second time. So it's getting fast and furious. Caleb Foster into the game, the 6'5" sophomore. Trying to get it downstairs, and Washington went for the block, but that's going to be goaltending. So count that basket.
But here's what bothered Hubert Davis. That's an elbow to the face of Jalen Washington right after a dead ball technical foul. And Hubert Davis sees this.
And they are going to go over and take a look.
They absolutely have to go look at this to be able to see what happened there. We're going to come back. We have a rivalry. UNC Duke Part 3. And OB, we're off to a fiery start here in Charlotte in the semifinals of the ACC Tournament.
You think? Yeah, just a little bit. Corey, already a couple of tone-setting moments here in the first half, Duke and Carolina.
They absolutely have been. You see Patrick Gumba swinging the elbows. It does make contact with Jalen Washington, but we've had a conversation with the officials. They've said that this is a normal basketball play. It absolutely would have been a cylinder foul had they blown the whistle at the time, but because they did not, there's nothing you can do. It ends up being a basket for Gumba off of the goaltend of Washington, but you see Jalen Washington being tended to on the sideline.
More than a little blood has been spilled in this rivalry over the many decades. Here's Davis.
I believe we showed about 5 occasions in our tees, correct?
Yes. And before the shot went down, but no basket there. There was a whistle and a foul.
Now, Obi, what I will say is that throughout this tournament, and you and I have seen it, the officials have done a great job of allowing these teams to play.
Very much.
You know, allowing them to be physical, but not dirty. After the way this game has started, I expect to see many more whistles as R.J. Davis calls the timeout because the Blue Devils do a tremendous job defensively on the underneath out-of-bounds play.
Well, at least nobody got fouled there. It was a timeout. Well, Duke on top 14-9, 11:59 first half. What it wins tonight, what it will mean with a win tonight for Duke and North Carolina. And North Carolina trying to get into the NCAA tournament. Right now, Joey Brackett says they are in.
I think that changes what they lost, OB. I believe they absolutely have to get to the championship, and if not win it, to be certain that they will be in the tournament, because as we've seen with other teams in the similar scenario, once they've lost in the conference tournament, they immediately drop, oftentimes from the last 4 in to the first 4 out.
Rocked away downtown, but no. He was very chilly yesterday. He was 0 for 5 from 3. Duke overcame that. An impressive win without Cooper Flagg and without Malik Brown. Neither of whom can play tonight. Trying to slice inside Jackson. One and done. Foster has been trying to find a role for himself all season long after starting 15 games last year. That's swatted away by Lubin.
And numbers for the Tar Heels with Gillis down in the backcourt.
Wow, tiptoeing in, and another goaltending.
And I believe they will look at this one later, but right now it's a goaltending. It's a play that they can go back and review at the next dead ball. As Powell goes to the basket, that's probably going to be taken off. That looks like a good block as the ball is still going up. Gumba gets to it before it gets to the basket, to the backboard. I believe those 2 points most likely will come off at the next dead ball.
Certainly agree with you on that. Zipped up top for Gillis. And a whistle and a foul. Mason Gillis, the Purdue transfer, very much a calming factor for this team. And the foul will be on Seth Trimble, his first.
And Mason Gillis, who's normally the substitute for Cooper Flagg, still in the role of coming off the bench with Isaiah Evans getting the start, but he'll be someone that John Shire leans on heavily without Cooper.
Knipple after 28 yesterday getting a lot of attention on the spin. Foster leaning inside. It won't drop. Duke with a board, but on the line. Going back to yesterday, the reason Cooper Flagg unable to play tonight, this was nasty. He was so high up, and to come down on that ankle in a lot of pain. He was in a wheelchair for a while on his way to have an x-ray. The x-ray was negative. He's responded well to treatment, but not going tonight. There's the slam by Powell.
A beautiful find from Ben Allen Lubin. The nice cut by Powell. And North Carolina right now dominating points in the paint when you consider everything that they've done has been in the painted area, not really getting much going from the perimeter.
Knipple catches, fires, got it, a three. On the money, he makes 40%. And as mentioned, Malik Brown, who's the second best defender after Cooper Flagg, out with a shoulder injury. Tipped away by Foster. Working on Davis, he'll lay it in. He had a couple of moments like that in the last game against Carolina.
He really did. Jon Scheyer recognizes Caleb Foster is from the state of North Carolina. It's important for him to be a part of this rivalry, and he's come in and given them good minutes early.
Trimble, what a determined drive. He laid it in and took the foul. Seth Trimble to the line.
And the family cheering him on. Mom Laurence in the building. And she's watching her son trying to get a win over the rival Blue Devils. Seth Trimble attacking Kama Malawach, able to go around Malawach and get the bucket opportunity at the free throw line. Seth Trimble was 8 of 9 from the free throw line yesterday. 8 of his 10 points came from the free throw stripe, only 1 of 6 from the field.
Can't connect on the foul shot, but that was 6-3 against 7-2. We've seen enough of Seth this year. It doesn't matter to him. He'll go up against anybody. Almost went into the stands here. Drake May over here.
Well, he gets dapped up by Drake May along right beside us watching the game. There's Drake hanging out, watching many of his guys. He was just in school with them last year, wasn't he, OB?
Minutes ago. Now a star for the New England Patriots. What a bright future he has. Very popular guy in New England. James will back it out. 7 to get off a shot here for Duke. James steadies, fires. And it'll go down. He got it off in time for a three-pointer.
How about the veterans for the Blue Devils stepping up? Sion James, Tyrese Proctor, Caleb Foster, the returners. With something to prove here today after the freshmen carried them here to the semifinals.
Picked off by Foster. Another theft. Davis trying to chase him down. Here's Gillis. Malawach right back up, and down it goes. 24-15, and Duke getting a little separation.
OB, Jon Scheyer is confident that the Blue Devils without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown still have more than enough to win the ACC tournament.
Davis pushes off. Long one up there, no. Lubin with the left hand.
I'll tell you what, that was an unbelievable rebound by Lubin going over the 7-2 Malawach to grab it, and then the presence to lay it up with the left hand, not allowing the shot blocker to affect it.
Lubin's having, as we mentioned, an outstanding tournament, back-to-back double-doubles here in Charlotte.
Elliot Cadeau's got to be careful, OB. He's already playing with 2.
Knipple. Got a great look, absolutely buried it.
And a smart play by Caleb Foster to attack Cadeau, knowing he's playing with those 2 fouls. Beats him off the bounce and delivers a strike to Knipple in the corner.
His mom, who is an outstanding player herself. Cadeau, big drive, rebound tip, Lubin again. And he takes a foul. With 7:10 to go, we'll take a break. And Duke on top by 10. This is the way the rivalry has gone over the years. It's been a bloody rivalry, and much of the same tonight. A lot of physical play, and we're just getting started. Duke and Carolina once again. Zubin, guys, thank you very much. 7:10 left first half. ACC Tournament Semifinal in Charlotte. Duke with a 27-17 lead. No score change. In fact, they didn't really look at the goaltend a few moments ago. North Carolina, the 5 seed. Duke, the number 1 seed. We've got the best 4 teams in the semifinal, don't we?
We absolutely do. When you consider what the ACC has been this year, these 4 teams have really carried the attention. When you consider Clemson and Louisville both coming up next, 18-2, both teams, and only Duke at 19-1, better than those 2 teams. So it has been a top-heavy league this year in the ACC. And, of course, the Tar Heels, a national brand, always going to be in the mix.
Clemson, the only team in the regular season to knock off Duke. We were there with Dickie V at Clemson. Tigers played a great game, and they've just gotten better and better. They are a handful. Remember, they were an Elite 8 team last year. So they've been good for a long time. 27 wins now.
Yeah, Brad Brownell's done a tremendous job, as has Pat Kelsey. Tough trying to figure out who the coach of the year was this year.
Knipple swish it in from 3-point land, and he's at it again. He has 9 points.
And I can tell you who I voted for. It's the guy that won the ACC and had a 19-1 record, and is putting in Patrick Gumba.
Wow.
In place of Common Malawach, and has developed Gumba. He didn't start the season playing, OB. He missed his entire senior year of high school with injury, but the Blue Devils have developed him all season long for times as such, and Gumba standing the test with Jalen Willis attacking him at the rim.
Possession arrow keeps it on this end. It was a jump ball. Out for Cadeau. Knocked away. The steal by Evans. Sion James will run it. Duke on top 30-19. And that'll go the other way. A foul on Duke with 6:21 to go. They'll get James for his second foul. Let's go to Angel.
Guys, I wish you could see the energy, feel the energy of this Duke bench over here. Even though Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown are not participating, Malik Brown using any healthy extremity to cheer on his team. They have been on their feet the majority of the time on the bench, and speaking to a couple of their teammates, they talked about how this is indeed a brotherhood. They played like it so far today.
They really have, Angel, and you've had so many different players step up. We talked about the freshman from yesterday. Patrick Gumba was 3 for 3 from the field as we watch R.J. Davis get going along the baseline. But O.B. Gumba has really stepped up on the defensive end.
Yes.
And you can see how much work John Shire and his staff have done with Gumba. This was a weakness for him coming into Duke, but he has absolutely helped his team on the defensive end today.
And he should have had a block already. They didn't give him. Evans out of the corner. Gumba, nice job keeping that alive. Here's James. And a bit too strong. Tell you what, if I'm the manager, I find something, a rope or something, to tie Cooper Flagg to that bench, man. I don't want him on his feet, but I don't think there's any way to stop it.
Hey, you're not stopping him from getting up and cheering on his teammates. He is part of the brotherhood. He's excited to see his teammates playing so well, especially his classmate, Patrick Gumba, who has stepped up with Malawach getting in foul trouble, stepped up big time, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
Davis, second team All-ACC. James hounding him in the corner. Carolina down 9 here in the semifinal. On the drive and the kick, here's Cadeau. Yes, a 3.
Needed that. The first made three-point field goal for the Tar Heels in this game. Obi, after game 1 of the ACC tournament, the Tar Heels had made more threes in a 5-year stretch than they have in the history of this storied program.
Finally made one, their first, and a big drive by Gumba for 2.
This is his gift. He is elite offensively. That's why John Shire recruited him.
Powell lost the handle, but right to Davis. RJ at 17 points a game. He has had a tremendous career in North Carolina. Lubin's the open shooter, but that didn't touch anything. Out it went.
And the Blue Devils will allow Lubin to have all he can eat from beyond the three-point arc. They want to keep him out of the painted area. If he wants to shoot threes, they will allow that to happen and feel like they've done their job defensively. If Ben Allen Lubin is going to beat the Blue Devils from outside, then he's just going to have to beat them.
Duke Blue Devils with Cooper Flagg most of the time, leading the nation in scoring margin. Just really beating people up. Here's the shot, going to be short by Foster. Got his own miss right on the baseline.
And going to continue to attack Elliot Cadeau. And a smart play by Caleb Foster. You can tell that he was told from the sideline, when you get into the game, go at Cadeau. He's trying to play with 2 fouls. Caleb Foster attacks Cadeau, picks up the 3rd foul.
We'll watch the guys on the bench who can't play tonight, but they are in it. And in a big way, it is Duke and Carolina. 3:56 to go in the first half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let our expertise round out yours. Gorgeous night here in Charlotte, in the Queen City, which has treated us tremendously well throughout the week. Championship game coming up tomorrow night.
Obi, when you consider the Duke Blue Devils playing not only without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown, but also -1 coach. We know Jay Lucas took the job at University of Miami to be their head coach. So that left a lot more responsibility on the coaching staff. Had a conversation with Coach Emmanuel Dildy, who made it very clear that a lot of what was going on and the responsibilities that they had now fell on he and Will Avery, who is now responsible for the guards. You see Caleb Foster, who didn't play in a matchup on Big Monday that we have with the Blue Devils before they go to Carolina. All of a sudden, they go to North Carolina. Caleb Foster is inserted into the lineup, into the rotation, and now Foster coming in, playing a huge part here in the Blue Devils having success against their 8-mile rival Tar Heels in the ACC tournament.
They played only 5.5 minutes yesterday. He's had a very strange season for a guy who really relied on being in the lineup last year. Started 15 games and was a starter earlier this season. It's been a struggle to find a role.
And it's been a constant communication between Caleb Foster and John Shire. John Shire was a starter his entire freshman year. He came off the bench his entire sophomore year. I asked John, I said, have you told Caleb that? He said, of course, we've done everything that we can to try to help Caleb know that we're going to need him as this season progresses, and they have needed him here today.
Shot clock inside 10. Dribble with a little fall away. No. Rebound was tapped and a whistle there as Gillis took a hit. Check out the bracket in the Big 12. This is a 10-point game in the semifinals in the ACC. Withers just picked up the foul, but BYU Houston in the semifinals right now on ESPN2. And Texas Tech, 2 seed in Arizona at 9:30.
And we've got some more friendly fire in this game. Common Malawach coming down with the right elbow. Now that's incidental contact. I mean, it hurts. Ben Allen Lubin is thinking to himself, yeah, it's easy for you to say that over there with the suit and tie on. However, Ben Allen Lubin taking that friendly fire in this one. Always dangerous when you're dealing with 7-footers and their elbows are at forehead level for you.
Yeah, that sounds like you're speaking from experience, my friend.
Yeah, I've caught a couple of those. More so on the top of my head, though. I'm not even at elbow level for 7-footers.
Jalen Washington took that shot early and still remaining on the bench. And a good save by Withers. 35-24 Duke. Carolina 8-1 in their last 9. Davis. He feeds Powell and short with a long jumper. Proctor off to Gillis in transition though. They'll get another chance.
But a great play by Malawach, tipping it out to his teammates and getting a second chance opportunity.
Proctor taking on Davis chest to chest. Gillis and looking for the slam. Malawach, great adjustment, banks it in. He's going to the line. His first thought was he was going to slam that down, but tremendous control of the body to make sure he got the basket.
I am with you 100%, OB. The big fella was going to drop the hammer. However, when Jalen Withers comes over to contest, he knows he's not going to be able to get all the way to the rim, but he's able to lay it softly off the glass. Of course, the bench reacting with excitement.
Can we get a microphone on Cooper Flagg? Because I have a feeling he'd be pretty good at this play-by-play thing.
I can tell you this, OB. Coop talks quite a bit of trash. I'm not sure all of it is going to be able for us to air it.
Yeah, you're concerned that this is a family show. I get it.
You can remember the technical foul at Boston College.
Oh, yeah. 2:21 to go and a foul with Duke opening up a 37-24 lead. And a personal will go against Duke and Isaiah Evans, his first. Time for a 1-and-1. So Carolina heading to the line. And one of the best foul shooters in ACC history at the stripe. J. Davis, 89% this year's 8 for 8 yesterday in a quarterfinal win.
Yeah, this is how North Carolina survived yesterday against Wake Forest in that quarterfinal matchup. They were 22 of 27 from the free throw stripe. They only shot 33.9% in that game and were still able to get a win because of how proficient they were at the free throw line.
And naturally he misses that one. Carolina only shot 34% yesterday. That's a season low for them. It was a very gritty win. Proctor again spinning and kicking.
Another offensive rebound by Malawach and showing off the soft touch once again to put it back.
This is a 9-0 run. So Duke's starting to look pretty darn comfortable. Powell gets it up. That won't drop. Knipp with the rebound.
And give Isaiah Evans credit for doing the job defensively. That's the reason he didn't play much early in the year. But he is locked in on the defensive end now, trying to help his team get a win.
Knipple banging with Jackson and bangs it in. Off the window for 2. And he'll be headed to the line. He has 11.
The Blue Devils playing inspired basketball, Obi. They love having Cooper Flagg as a teammate, but they hate hearing it's Cooper Flagg and the Duke Blue Devils. Cooper is the first one to tell you, no, it is a team. It is about the entire team. And right now, Knipple, come on, Malawatch, and the Blue Devils showing that they are a great team with or without Cooper Flagg in the lineup.
42-24 here in the semifinals. Tar Heels in need of a hot hand. Davis blocked by Malawatch. And another foul with 1:07 to go.
A smart play by Tyrese Proctor, recognizing Drake Powell trying to trail the play as Kama Malawatch cleans up the mess, denying that opportunity from R.J. Davis at the rim. And Proctor trying to get out on the break, recognizing Drake Powell trailing him. Just goes right into his path, forces Powell to foul him, and gets him to the free throw line.
North Carolina has missed their last 5 shots. Proctor, 75%. Had a good one against Carolina at Chapel Hill with 16 points. And he makes 1 of 2. So 4 minutes without a point for North Carolina. They have gone stone cold here in Charlotte. Davis trying to break free. And lost it. Right back over to Duke it goes.
And you see how excited the Blue Devils are with the way they have defended in this game. The Tar Heels shooting 37%. And Caleb Foster getting after it. Defending R.J. Davis, forcing the turnover.
Foster blowing by and lays it in. Man, as he brought some energy. 15-0 to run. Jackson trying to end it. Look at Evans hit the floor. Knipple 2. A tremendous effort here by Duke defensively.
But look at Isaiah Evans, O.B. I have watched this young man play basketball ever since he was in the 8th grade. I have never seen him do this defensively. He comes in and helps, but he's the first one to the floor. Knocks the ball loose. Knipple on the floor after the basketball, and immediately all he wants to do is go congratulate Isaiah Evans for his defensive effort.
Boy, the Duke fans in full throat here. Duke has grabbed the game by the throat. 3-second difference, shot and game clock, and airmailed. And enough time to get off a decent shot here for Knipple. 5 seconds before the break. Proctor around the back, off the fake, fires, around and out. But Duke closing the first half on a mega run, and they are on top 45-24.
O.B. And they're still playing like it.
They sure are. They're scrapping for every loose ball. James on the attack to the baseline as we get started here in the second half in Charlotte. And a lot of North Carolina fans in a bit of a state of shock. Proctor airborne. Can't knock it down. Davis went for the rebound, and North Carolina controls. So Carolina trying to get up off the mats. Godot zips the pass for Withers, and too strong. Then Allen Lubin, and another block, another rejection by Malawatch. Withers will try again and misses again. But Carolina will retain here and a new shot clock.
North Carolina getting anything they want on the interior. There's another one now, 9 of 12 on layups and dunks, but everything else has been a struggle. Only 2 made buckets outside of the painted area. Another delivery from Cadeau to Van Allen Lubin, but I'm not sure 2s are going to be able to beat the Blue Devils.
Don Knippel, big-time drive for another bucket.
Especially when you can't stop the Blue Devils on the other end of the floor. Con Knippel showing that he's much more than just a shooter.
Beautiful pass, and Powell up for the lay-in to make it 47-28.
That's really the only thing that's been successful for North Carolina offensively, is throwing over the top and allowing their athletes to be able to go finish. Duke has been able to defend pretty much everything else they've done on the offensive end.
Again, Duke leading the nation in scoring margin. They had 10 conference wins this season of 25 points or more. That's an all-time ACC record. James off the hesitation, beautifully done.
And smart play by James. He gets Withers in the air. Withers already playing with 2 fouls. Fortunate not to pick up one on that last possession.
Cadeau trying to operate off the dribble and a whistle with 17:36 remaining. And if you're not with us at the very beginning of the broadcast, Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown out today. That's all we know right now, is they're not playing in this game. As you've mentioned and many have said, it's highly unlikely, certainly the way they're playing with these guys, that they would have to play at all in a championship game, maybe not even in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
You know, I honestly, when you consider playing them in the first round, now you only have 48 hours to be able to turn around. I believe, and the Duke team that we're seeing without them is just good to beat pretty much anybody, especially a 16 seed that they're going to face in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I would absolutely look at not playing those guys until then.
Proctor well short. Malawach collects. Got to get a shot up though. 6 to shoot. Never got to the iron. Malawach will take a long one and bury it from 3.
And why not? He's done everything else throughout this game. Why not knock down the 3 ball? He took the 3 on the first possession of the game for Duke on the offensive end. I'm not sure John Shire wanted that one, but he absolutely loves to see him knock down the 3 at the end of the shot clock.
That's a no, 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 yes, yes, yes. But again, as you said, the shot clock was winding down. And Duke, without 2 outstanding players, and the man many believe is the best college player in the country on the bench, still firing on many cylinders. Lubin picks up the rebound.
And there should be numbers for the Tar Heels right now. Need to attack with Malawach behind the play.
Lubin asking for the ball. Does not get it. Davis does. For Powell in the corner. Airmailed that one, and another whistle. Malawach continues to make his mark on this game.
Yeah, Common Malawach, in all honesty, OB, in a normal year, would be an option as the #1 pick in the NBA draft. But his buddy will be that. But Malawach showing that he's much more than a rim protector and a shot blocker, showing that he has the touch from beyond the arc and has a strong performance here today.
His second foul as he goes to the bench. Lubin, nice pass. Withers to the other side of the iron for the lay-in.
Guys, just a reminder that that is just Malawach's 3rd 3 of the season. Corey, you posed the question, do we see Cooper Flagg at any point in this tournament going beyond this game? Coach Shire, sorry, a little tie up there. I'm going to give it back to you, OB.
Yeah, scrap on the deck here, and the officials will separate them with Knippel down on his back in the middle of it, and he'll be lifted up by his teammates. John Shire coming over to make sure his team gets out of that. Nothing more comes from it. We'll have more on Cooper Flagg when we come back here to Charlotte.
Angel, can you hear me?
Yeah, Corey,
All right.
if you want to come back and have a question just about what you're seeing from the team, I'm just going to say what Coach Shire said post-game.
No, say what Coach Shire said post-game,
Okay.
but then get into your point about the guards defensively.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Because, yeah, so just go into that, and then I'll tag that when you come back from it.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let our expertise round out yours. Back in Charlotte, let's toss it to Angel.
Guys, Coach Shire said in his post-game presser that this entire team will have to convince him that Cooper Flagg can go in this tournament. But I think instead this team is showing why he doesn't, and they think they can hold down the fort, especially on the defensive end. Coach Shire told me pregame that he believes that he has the best defensive backcourt in the league, if not the country. He said, I had 3 different players on my team that I could have nominated for Defensive Player of the Year. All eyes may have been on Cooper Flagg, but by the committee and what we are seeing on display here tonight against the Tar Heels, they are literally making it very disruptive on every single play for the backcourt for the Tar Heels.
They really are, Angel. And when you consider that the backcourt of the Tar Heels is a combined 3 of 11. R.J. Davis, who was the ACC Player of the Year last season, 2 of 7, 0 for 3 from beyond the three-point arc. And we have to remind you, he had 23 points yesterday on a very efficient, only 9 field goal attempts. So when you see the way that Tyrese Proctor, Sion James have locked in defensively, but more importantly, the ways that the younger players in Isaiah Evans, Con Knipple, have been able to follow their lead on the defensive end of the floor, that truly shows you that the veterans have gotten their point across to the young players.
Knipple, a freshman. Malawach, a freshman. Isaiah Evans, a freshman.
Patrick Dungba
as well,
a freshman.
He's a freshman
who's
too.
been huge in this game.
Big time. And it's certainly not playing like it.
And that's one of the things, and the old adage is, once you get to this point, you're no longer freshmen. And again, these guys have gotten so much experience. You think about the big games that the Blue Devils played early in non-conference. Playing Kansas in Las Vegas. Of course, playing Kentucky in Champions Classic. Going to Arizona. Playing against Auburn at home. They had been tested. And so now that is showing up.
Cadeau with a good look to drain a triple. and give North Carolina a little bit of life.
The second three made by Cadeau. He has all the three-point field goals for North Carolina. I'm not sure that that is by plan, but it's going to be difficult for the Tar Heels to win when Elliot Cadeau is your best three-point shooter.
Con Knipple on the line on that sideline, and we've got Clemson and Louisville, which should be an absolute dandy. Both of them ranked in the top 25. Do you realize how long it's been in the ACC since two teams ranked in the poll have battled each other?
It hasn't happened much this year.
293 games, I think it is. So that should be a terrific matchup. The tip is going to be up and in by Lubin, and continues to have a really nice tournament.
And a little life from the Tar Heels now, still trailing 17. But I agree with you, Obi. Ben Allen Lubin has absolutely been a spark as the Tar Heel faithful here at the Spectrum Center starting to try to find a way to give their guys some energy.
Proctor back up top for Gumba. Open shooter Foster, and out it goes.
Yeah, that's a nice effort by Elliot Cadeau, getting out there, blocking the three-point field goal attempt by Caleb Foster. Elliot Cadeau playing with those 3 fouls, but he's played inspired basketball here, getting back on the floor in this second half. And again, he's going to have to get some help from his teammates. The desperation has to set in, that sense of urgency for the Heels.
Knipple got to get a shot in the air. Shot clock down to 2 as that clangs away.
Jalen Washington back on the floor for the first time since taking that hit.
Cadeau on the drive.
Now, will this be a goaltending? Does he get that on the glass?
Yeah, they are going to count it. That is goaltending.
Elliot
one earlier we weren't so sure about.
But see, does it hit the glass first? It does not. And I believe they'll look at this one also. Gumba looking like he's got a good block on that one as well. We didn't see if the ball was coming down or not, but he does get to it before it hits the glass. Similar to the first one we saw, Patrick Gumba, but that one looks as though it's coming down. You can absolutely see that one being counted as a good basket. The basketball is on its way down. I believe this one will count for Elliot Cadeau.
And Tyrese Proctor with his second foul on the play. 13:54 left as they review the goaltending. Duke a marvelous first half despite Cooper Flagg on the bench and Malik Brown on the bench, and just ran away and hid. They were up 21 at the break against North Carolina. This is their third meeting of the season. Duke winning the first 2 pretty comfortably. And they continue to take a gander at the monitor now for today's Experts at Work, brought to you by Principal.
Well, it's been about the defense of the Blue Devils. Everyone on a string getting involved. Caleb Foster fighting over the screen, denying R.J. Davis his opportunities, and then, of course, being celebrated by his teammates. Isaiah Evans getting on the floor, Knipple getting on the floor, and more importantly, the energy and the effort that the Blue Devils have brought into this building in this rivalry game has been infectious amongst their teammates.
We've seen that level of defense all season long by Duke, you know, and covering loose balls, the 50-50s, the tremendous enthusiasm to play defense.
Well, Obi, I'm wrong again. This one is no goaltending. Even though it did look as though the ball was coming down on that one, it's no goaltending. So Cadeau will go to the free throw stripe for 2 points, and this will not be an opportunity for a three-point play.
Elliot Cadeau, the sophomore out of West Orange, New Jersey, playing with 3 fouls. He'll drop in the first one. He makes 67%. There's so much talk all season long about, will the Tar Heels be excluded from the NCAA tournament? Do they belong in the field?
Cutting the lead to 15. Now the Tar Heels will go to their full court pressure. This is how you have to attack. If teams are going to press you, it's better if you can score early. Advantage basketball, 2-on-1. Knipple hooking up with Patrick Gumba for the lob.
That pops free and out of play. It was tipped, 13:37 left. Frankly, in a second semifinal, Clemson and Louisville, those are two of the hottest teams in the country, about to go toe-to-toe. Pulled up by Cadeau, well short, and Gillis with the rebound.
You talk about the top 3 teams in the ACC all coming in on winning streaks and playing their best basketball late in the season.
Louisville 20 out of 21. Pulled up by Knipple and short. The Heels need a long run, trying to climb back in it. And that'll go the other way on the foul. An offensive. And they're going to get Washington for that one, his second. And we have you covered on Selection Sunday once again. It all starts at 6 with SportsCenter on ESPN. Reese and the guys look at the 68, followed by bracketology with breakdowns of each region. Then at 8, the women's bracket of 68 will be revealed. Carolina on a run out. Trimble with the slam.
And it's been a much better start from an energy and effort standpoint in this second half for the Tar Heels. However, going down 21 at halftime, you're going to have to rely on some miscues from the Blue Devils to try to get back into this game.
James will go right to the 10 and lay it in.
And that's a smart play. Whenever you have a 2-on-1, and this is something that you work on at the beginning of practice every day, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and the Blue Devils are executing to perfection when they get those advantage opportunities on the offensive end.
Washington, as you mentioned, back in the game, set the screen. Davis floats it in for 2. R.J. Davis' career has been filled with big moments. 2,676 points.
Hubert Davis backing off the pressure, OB, recognizing that Duke is prepared and scoring on the last 2 times they tried to pressure them full court. Going to back off the pressure and see if they can get some stops in the half court.
Proctor and Malawat ready to check back in for Duke, and they turn it over. Trimble into the lane, banks it in, and a whistle as well. And hold the phone for a moment here. The Tar Heels have come to life.
OB, there are a number of tremendous athletes on the floor right now. However, Seth Trimble is the best one of them all, and he's showing it off in transition as both these teams are getting up and down the floor, and Seth Trimble attacking Mason Gillis. The concentration and the bank is still open late night in Charlotte.
Back in Charlotte, Dave O'Brien, Corey Alexander, Angel Gray with you. Wasn't that long ago, it was 52-28. Since then, Carolina a 15-4 run.
The Tar Heels have found their energy here in the building, and now they're able to get out in transition. 10 Duke turnovers have benefited the Tar Heels. However, only 5 of 10 now, 6 of 11 from the free throw stripe. Seth Trimble, who was 0 for 3, makes his first free throw of the game after going 8 of 9 last night.
James right in front of his own bench. Here's Proctor. Keeps on dribbling, and a great job by Malowacz to roll off it.
And a smart play by Proctor, making sure he engaged the big man to give Malowacz enough time to get to the rim.
Malowacz closing in on a double-double. Into the paint, picked off by Gillis.
Now the 10th turnover for the Tar Heels, where each and every possession on the offensive end becomes extremely important, trying to catch up to the Blue Devils.
Knipple again. Man, do they love to run that play. Those two are Batman and Robin.
They absolutely are. And Superman is out. He's cheering for him on the sideline. But Batman and Robin are getting the job done for the Blue Devils.
On the drive, off the window, pre-shot by R.J. Davis, who still uses the glass as well as anybody.
Well, North Carolina's found a rhythm on the offensive end, OB. They just can't get stops. That's going to be the concern. Can they lock in defensively and find a way to keep the Blue Devils from operating so well in their offensive end?
Coming up on 10 minutes to go in Charlotte. Our first semifinal here in the ACC tournament. Knipple takes the pass, leans in, can't finish, but he'll be off to the line. And he's the best foul shooter on the floor, 92%. And a personal on Ian Jackson. That'll be number 2 on a freshman for North Carolina. And we have Clemson and Louisville still to come. Great crowd here tonight for game 1.
We're in Charlotte with the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils. There would be a great crowd anywhere if you take this this matchup. It doesn't matter where you go, but here in the Queen City, you absolutely have to expect a packed house for the ACC Tournament-Semifinals.
Have you spent a lot of time in Charlotte?
I retired here.
You did?
Yeah, with the Bobcats. My last year in the NBA was in Charlotte. So I spent a lot of time here. I actually saw Muggsy Bogues yesterday. The first time I ever went to play golf, Del Curry and Muggsy Bogues took me out to the links.
How did that go? I'd love to know.
Well, there were a lot of divots, and the ball didn't go very far. Let's just say that.
Davis lost the dribble, picked off, and Duke collects it. 61-46. Knipple on the drive. Great defense there by North Carolina to get back and prevent an easy basket. Trimble stumbles through the paint. He'll shovel that to Davis. Working around Gillis. Another floater, but no this time. We're going to get a foul as Knipple attempted to race back into the paint. A foul on North Carolina and on R.J. Davis, number 1. Malowacz will hit the bench, and Patrick Gungba back on now for John Shire. John Shire's got to be delighted with this effort.
He really has to be, especially when you consider what the Blue Devils have been able to do defensively. Right now, even with the surge in the second half, the Tar Heels still only shooting 42%, 4 of 24 on everything outside of the restricted area.
Gungba handing off here for Proctor. Proctor drives, using the glass, a sweet shot.
And Elliot Cadeau is injured, OB, grabbing at that left arm. Going to try to shake it off and stay on the floor.
Taking on Knipple one-on-one and a whistle. We are under 9 minutes left here in the first semifinal. 2 fouls now on Con Knippel, the freshman from Milwaukee.
You've got to give the Duke guards a tremendous amount of credit when you consider Sion James, Tyrese Proctor, Con Knippel, the way that these guys have manipulated the screen and roll action as Bert Smith is talking to Elliot Cadeau about the chirping that's going on between these two teams.
Yep.
Drake Powell trying to be peacemaker, letting him know, I got my guy.
Bert Smith was saying, stop it right now.
Yes, but when you consider that these guys lost their coach, Jay Lucas is the point guard's coach. But you throw Kayla Foster in that mix as well. Not only what they've done defensively, but you see how these guys are playing pick and roll action. And they're engaging that big man and making last-minute decisions on whether or not to throw the lob or to go on their own and finish. We've seen great examples of both throughout this game. I know Jay Lucas is watching in sunny South Florida, smiling, seeing his guys go to work.
So here in Charlotte, there have been a couple of potential roadblocks that could have tripped up Duke, but it really hasn't.
Another one.
Another slam by Gungba. Duke fans loving it, 65-47. He has 8 points. Powell nearly lost his footing. Very deep down for Lubin in the basket.
And another bucket inside the restricted area, 3 feet. And within, the Tar Heels have been excellent. They just haven't been able to get much going from outside of that area. And down 16 with less than 8 minutes remaining, they're going to have to find something from beyond the 3 to try to chase down the Blue Devils.
Proctor knocked away and stolen by Cadeau. He's got Powell, and he'll lay it in, and a foul. Drake Powell, the freshman, going in strong.
It's the only thing that the Blue Devils haven't done well throughout this game is the turnovers. 11 turnovers for the Blue Devils that have led to 14 points off turnovers for the Tar Heels. Outside of that, everything has been excellent, especially when you consider the effort diving on the floor and the want-to in this rivalry.
Stupid, appreciate that very much. Duke on top 65-51. Cooper Flagg, Malik Brown unable to play tonight because of injuries. It hasn't mattered a whole lot, but the timing for North Carolina in a game like this is still 7:41 to go.
And now you 14, opportunity to make it 13 for Drake Powell here at the free throw line. There's absolutely more than enough time for the Tar Heels to get back into this one and see if they can come away with a win, which of course would be oh so necessary for their NCAA tournament chances.
They were down by as many as 24 tonight, Carolina was. And Powell connecting, give him 9 points, so 65-52. Knipple leading the way for Duke with 15. James on the wing. R.J. Davis coming back on now in a moment here for North Carolina.
That's going to be 4.
Cadeau, that's number 4. Give me a look at our blind resume now. And on your right, 22-12, 1-11 in quad 1. Joe Lunardi says last 4 in. On your left, last 4 buys at 20-13 and 5-10 in quad 1s.
I'm looking at that. I'm pretty sure it's an SEC team. It could be Oklahoma, it could be Arkansas, it could be Vanderbilt in that spot.
James will draw the foul.
When you consider that they've played 15 quad 1 opportunities, and we'll go with Arkansas, but you look at the net. North Carolina with a higher net, but you look at that quad 1, 5-10 versus quad 1s. I honestly believe, OB, with that 1-11, and again, if the Tar Heels don't win this game, that becomes 1-12. I think it's going to be difficult for the committee to allow a team with 1-12 record versus quad 1 into the tournament.
And how badly you lose can also be a factor because it'll affect your efficiency rating.
Yeah, exactly. And when you think about the way that the Tar Heels have lost a number of their games, you go back and you think of at Clemson and then, of course, at Duke earlier in the year. Those are the things that come into mind. And you also have to remember that they don't take into account the last 10 games anymore. That's no longer part of the criteria.
Well, they've rallied to cut the gap a little bit. Under 7 minutes, Lubin lost the handle on it, picks it back up and scores again. As he continues to play really good basketball here in Charlotte.
He really has been a bright spot. 16 and 7 for him. Back-to-back double-doubles in the last 2 games. And now down to 12. Can the Tar Heels get a stop?
Malowacz turns, can't lay it in, follows his own miss, and it just came out of his hands.
And this is where Trimble has to continue to stay in attack mode.
And slapped away from him with 6:24 to go. This is the point in a game like this, and you and I have covered Duke many times, where they would rely on number 2.
Especially on the road. That's where he's been best. When the team is up against the wall, they've always had that one guy in Cooper Flagg that they can rely on to go get a bucket or make a play for one of his teammates.
Lubin, airborne, almost made it, caused the foul. And they're getting it down to Van Allen Lubin, the 6'8 junior. Every opportunity. Malowacz with his 3rd foul.
Hubert Davis making a concerted effort to get Van Allen Lubin involved. He's been the guy that's had success for the Tar Heels throughout this game. The leading scorer with 16 points, 7 of 9 from the field, and an opportunity to make this a 10-point game.
66% at the line for Lubin, and true on the first one. Gungba back on now for Malowacz for Duke.
But you got to think about the confidence that John Shire now has in Gungba. And Patrick Gungba didn't really start playing until the initial injury of Malik Brown, where he sprained his knee midway through the season. But has gained valuable experience throughout that time with the different injuries of Malik Brown, and now a reliable part of the rotation.
Well, don't look now, but a 10-point game. 9-1 run. That's exactly what Shire's looking at. 6 minutes to go. Plenty of time for North Carolina here. 66-56 in the semi. Can't wait for this one. Louisville and Clemson. And of course, the Ville on the Chucky Hepburn shot at the buzzer, advancing to the semifinal with that game winner. Clemson, 27 wins. That is a school record. They rallied late to beat SMU in another tight one. That's our game coming up. 2 against 3 in the semis.
2 first-team All-ACC guards going at it in a huge matchup between 18-2 ACC teams up next.
North Carolina has rallied to get it to 10. Evans with the, up and over the top for Gungba, and the slam. Out of the timeout. So a quick strike for the Duke Blue Devils. Here's Davis. Cadeau open. Drains it from three-point land.
The Tar Heels have made 3 three-point field goals in this game. All 3 coming from Elliot Cadeau. Obi, it was only 2 weeks ago they were daring him to shoot the basketball against Florida State. Cadeau stepping up and making big shots for the Tar Heels.
The last time it had been under 10 was with 4 minutes to go in the first half. Inside once again, Gungba real active offensively.
How about the
a dozen points?
Performance from Gungba. OB 6 of 6 from the field in this game. He's perfect. He was 3 for 3 in their matchup yesterday. Perfect 9 of 9 in the tournament.
Cadeau trying to use the screen. Under 5 minutes to play. Trimble airborne, banking it, no. Rebound up and in by Lubin, who's been everywhere in Charlotte.
It's a 9-point game, OB. It's in single digits. But the question continues to be asked. Can the Tar Heels get a stop?
Lubin came into the tournament averaging 8 points a game. He has 20 tonight. He had 17 the other day against Notre Dame. Foster trying to get inside and deflected away off of Carolina.
Great job defensively by R.J. Davis. Caleb Foster able to beat him off the dribble, but reaching in, getting a hand on the basketball.
4:25 to go. In for Kniffel, quick shot, well short. Here's Trimble, fast break, and a foul too! The Tar Heels are kicking. And the foul will go on Sion James, number 4, as Trimble goes to the line for a 3-point play.
Obi, I'm not sure who we watched in the first half, but in the second half, we have seen the North Carolina Tar Heels. They push the basketball on makes, on misses. They're always one of the best teams in transition, and by doing so, they found themselves now only down 6 as Shammond Williams, the ACC Tournament Most Outstanding Player in 1997, looks on and encourages his troops.
6-point game. 4 minutes to go. Knippel finds James on the drive, leaning in, and blocked. Carolina wins it again.
Smart play by R.J. Davis. Nothing there. Bring it out. Make sure you get a quality look.
Trimble driving hard, scoops it up. Another foul. North Carolina was down 24. They're within 6 and headed to the foul line. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Give you a look at tonight's dynamic play of the game, brought to you by T. Rowe Price. A lot of alley-oop dunks.
It absolutely has been. The Blue Devils have been flying over top, assisting on a number of alley-oops throughout the game. There have been many different passers and many different recipients. But of course, the tap the top of the head on your head celebration has been used often.
Look at the flip, though, here. North Carolina, 40 points since halftime. They're going to be at the foul line with a chance to make this a 5-point game. You know, you mentioned that all 6 of the assistant coaches, or the coaching staff for North Carolina, all went to North Carolina.
All played for North Carolina, some under Dean Smith, some under Roy Williams, but all of these guys played for the University of North Carolina. So you can only imagine what that conversation was like at halftime. The effort that they saw in the first half against their rival, I am absolutely certain that it was a heated discussion. And Roy Williams, who can only sit and watch now, also played at North Carolina and probably wanted to be a part of that conversation, OB.
Trimble knocks down number 1. And another one coming.
I can guarantee there were a number of bejeebies thrown around at halftime by Hubert Davis. And the message was received as the Tar Heels have an opportunity with Seth Trimble at the line to make this a 4-point game.
He does exactly that, 70-66. They were down 21 at the break. Proctor with it. Now to watch rolling again. A pull-up pop, and it'll roll in. Nice touch by Proctor. He has 11. Just about everybody on their feet in the building here at the Spectrum Center. 10 to get off a shot now for Carolina. Cadeau on the drive, right by everybody.
Elliot Cadeau has been the star in the second half for the Tar Heels. Missed the majority of it in foul trouble in the first half, but he's been a catalyst here in the second.
Proctor in traffic. 10 to shoot now. James working on Davis. Evans off the fake. A 3 in the air. He can't hit it. Powell with the save. Carolina ball again. Down by 4. What a comeback for the Tar Heels tonight in the semifinal.
Hubert Davis calling out instructions, what he wants on the offensive end, understanding a huge possession right here. They need to get the best possible shot they can get.
6 on the shot clock. Pass got to Powell, slapped away, and there is a whistle. 1:52 to go. There's 2 on the shot clock when the whistle was blown.
They're going to get Isaiah Evans coming in, slapping his former teammate Drake Powell on the arm. Hubert Davis animated on the sideline, calling out instructions, exactly what he wants to get to, and great execution by the Tar Heels to get Drake Powell to the free throw line for 2.
Well, not many saw this coming. North Carolina down by as many as 24 has come roaring back. Powell at the line and a misfire.
But Obi, there's so much pride in this rivalry between both these schools. You can only imagine the feeling in that Tar Heel locker room and trying to see which way and how they can find a way to get back into this game, showing a tremendous amount of heart in this second half to make it a 1-possession game.
72-69 Duke. Well, they turn to this man, Knipple, fighting his way along with Powell. Malawach gets it off for James. High post once again, Malawach. Knipple was demanding the ball, went to save it, he's on the line! He turns it over! North Carolina has it, 13 turnovers for the #1 team in the country.
And it's not important for the Tar Heels now to go for a 3 and tie this game. Continue to get the best possible look you can. They want to get Drake Powell and Elliot Cadeau involved in screen and roll actions.
Cadeau picked up the dribble. Davis. Evans on him.
Got to get out of that corner.
Coming up on a minute to go. A ferocious comeback for the Heels. Powell lines up a long one. He can't hit it. Malawach got up real high for that board.
Still more than enough time for the Tar Heels to play solid defense and get a stop.
Timeout. Duke takes it right here at 50.8. We'll go away for 30 seconds. Right back. 72-69 Duke. So there is a reset. 72-69 Duke. North Carolina 3 timeouts remaining. Duke is down to 1. Carolina with a foul to give.
And when you consider what has happened for the Blue Devils coming out of timeouts, of course, held a 24-point lead at one point. Now North Carolina making 7 of its last 9 field goal attempts. But most of the time when they come out of timeouts, there's been someone getting downhill with the option to throw the lob or get to the rim and finish. I expect to see John Shire bring Con Knipple off of a screen with either Sion James or Tyrese Parker handling the basketball. Get it to Con Knipple, his best free throw shooter, trying to get him downhill and allow him to make the decision as to whether or not he would drop it off to the big or try to go to the basket, get fouled, or score a bucket.
Chilly run for Duke. Without a point in the last 2:34. But for the longest time, as Duke had a giant lead, it did not feel like a comeback night. But that's exactly what it's become. Coming up next, our second semifinal, Clemson and Louisville right here in Charlotte. 50.8 seconds to go. Duke ball. And Con Knipple to put it in. Sion James to bring it across. 10 on the shot clock. Poked away. Now 5. Knipple drives it. Still on the move. Can't finish it.
And they're going to get the foul on Malawach. Seth Trimble coming in, gets the rebound. And it couldn't have happened better for the Tar Heels other than Seth Trimble being down.
And for Malawach, that's number 4.
Because now you have the opportunity to put points on the board and make it a 1-point game without any time going off the clock. Malawach coming in as Trimble grabs the rebound. But with only a 2-second differential.
Malawach on 4, as we mentioned. 2 shots coming for Trimble in North Carolina.
But Obi, with only a 2-second differential now, if Seth Trimble's able to make both free throws, well, regardless, makes 1. Does Hubert Davis have to foul here? I don't think you can afford to play out the 30 seconds.
Well, and Duke's going to do everything in their power to get it to Knipple anyway. It's just about automatic at the line. Trimble drops in number 1, 72-70. Evans will step off, and Gillis on now for Duke.
But regardless of a made free throw or not, you're going to have to get the basketball back. You would hope for a make, and most likely you foul. You go for the steal. If you don't get the steal, you foul. most likely Knipple makes 2, but it still gives you an opportunity to get a 3 on the next possession.
Dribble 82%. And sinks it. 72-71. How about this with 32 seconds to go? Well, you think about Duke and Carolina and all the great games and the incredible finishes. North Carolina down 24 points in this game. They are within 1.
And at halftime, as I'm walking through the tunnel, everyone says, you got what you asked for. Well, we now have exactly what we asked for. This rivalry, this matchup, the Tar Heels coming back, making it a 1-point game, OB, 32 seconds remaining. We'll see how Hubert Davis handles this. I know they will go for a steal, most likely foul, and get the basketball back, still down 1 possession, and have an opportunity to tie to be able to try to go on to the ACC Tournament Championship or possibly overtime here in Charlotte.
Duke has the possession arrow in their favor. Carolina 2 timeouts, and the Blue Devils down to 1. Duke has only lost 1 game in the ACC all year. That was against Clemson on the road. They certainly looked like they had this game in hand. Even without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown, with that gigantic lead, it's almost all gone. And it would certainly be Cooper Flagg's time of the game if he had not sprained the ankle yesterday and unable to play here tonight. 32 seconds to go, 30 on the shot clock.
And this also could possibly be the last game for R.J. Davis if they are unable to win this one.
And Knipple and Powell got tied up, and the whistle blown here without any time.
You don't mind that. You don't mind the OB, because that's the foul to give that the Tar Heels had. So now that that foul is called, a foul will be immediate free throws. It's a great play by Drake Powell, because any foul now will be immediate free throws, but a 1-and-1 for the Blue Devils.
Yep, and nothing coming off the clock.
And no time coming off the clock.
Officials are going to get together. Nick Cassell and Bert Smith and A.J. Desai. And chatting with Hubert Davis.
They're just checking to see if Sion James can run the floor. So the officials doing a great job, run the baseline. The officials doing a great job converging to make sure and allowing Sion James to know that he still can run after the foul.
In for Knipple. Still with it, got it free. Proctor over to James.
Now you want a foul.
Now you have to with 21.7.
I'm a little shocked they didn't foul Proctor once they got the basketball out of the hands of Con Knipple. But even still, a 1-and-1. Hubert Davis likes his chances right now. And I'm sure they have planned what they want to do on 2 made free throws or 1 made free throw. If he only makes 1, you want to have Elliot Cadeau attacking the basket, seeing if he can get to the rim, or Seth Trimble as well. If not, you want to have R.J. Davis as your guy lined up to take what could be the biggest 3 of his career to try to tie this game.
Proctor makes 75%. Too strong.
And you want to go for attack.
And a timeout. Carolina takes one with 17.6 to go. They've got the basketball. The shot clock is off.
Obi, I understand the timeout. I get it. Hubert Davis wants to design what he wants to do. But you've got Elliot Cadeau, the fastest guy on the court, who has had success going downhill the entire second half, with a head of steam with Sion James backpedaling. I think I'm going to take my chances there with Cadeau getting to the basket simply because you have more than enough time to foul if you're not successful.
Sure.
And it's a 1-and-1 again, putting pressure on the Blue Devils.
Well, an amazing comeback here for North Carolina with a chance to grab the lead here in the final seconds and maybe shock the #1 team in the country. Given what the score was, it's an absolute stunner to be here with 17.6 on the clock in a 1-point game. Amazing.
And it absolutely is. And you would expect Hubert Davis to try to find a way to get R.J. Davis a look here. It doesn't have to be a 3. You're only down 1. But you want to get R.J. Davis, the guy who's gotten you here in his 5th year, an opportunity to give your team the lead.
Trimble to put it in. Knipple on him. Here's Cadeau. Ten seconds to play. Cadeau gave up the dribble. On the moving side, Lubin, and a whistle on the play. With 4.1 and a foul on Duke. That'll go on Malawach, and that's 5.
And John Scheyer trying to get his team over, take full advantage of the 30 seconds before you have to check in a new player. Ben Allen Lubin, who has been spectacular for the Heels all night, attacks the basket. You see Malawach leaning in to the foul. Great call along the baseline by the officials as Cooper Flagg can only watch Ben Allen Lubin with an opportunity to tie and then give his team a lead with 4.1 seconds remaining.
Well, he's had 3 terrific games in this tournament. Tonight's been his best one, talking about Lubin, but he had 17 points, 10 rebounds against Notre Dame in game 1. Against Wake Forest, 13 rebounds. And then tonight, he's been better than that. He has gone off for 20 points.
He really has,
rebounds.
OB, and this is the biggest moment of his career overall, but especially in this 1 year at University of North Carolina, an opportunity to tie and possibly give his team a lead here at the free throw stripe.
He has 2 shots. 4.1 seconds to play. And trying to tie it here. He can't do it. He has another one coming. The junior from Orlando with a second chance to tie it at 72.
Oh, no.
A whistle that won't.
Oh, no.
And North Carolina moving there in the lane.
Dalen Withers tried to fake. And it's a lane violation.
Withers with the violation, he moved. And despite the make, which would have tied it, they wave it off. That a critical mistake, maybe. Sion James trying to get it in. And getting a timeout with 4.1 to go. Could not inbound it. We'll take one more look. Withers, who is the hero in their first game when he hit 7 threes, makes a mistake in the lane there.
Withers stepping over the line. I'm not sure if he was trying to fake it or he was thrown off by the motion of his teammates' free throw. But a tough moment for a 5th-year guy to be in right now. Still enough time, but you're going to have to foul immediately once the ball comes in bounds, and then hope to be able to get an opportunity, a good look on the other end of the floor, but a costly mistake for a veteran player of the Tar Heels.
Now North Carolina still in a timeout. Duke looking to inbound with 4.1 on the clock. and clinging to a 1-point advantage. And what has turned into a rather incredible semifinal. So James again. Had to get a timeout seconds ago because he couldn't get it in. Still looking. And does get it into Knipple. That's exactly where they want to have the ball at 92% at the foul line. 2.8 seconds left. And he'll be shooting a 1-and-1. He was 12 for 13 yesterday at the foul line. Don Knipple, the freshman.
And important to make both free throws because a heave and a miracle three, which we have seen oftentimes in this rivalry. You go back to 1995 with Jeff Capel doing it for the Blue Devils to send the game to overtime. Anything is possible in this rivalry. So you want to be sure to make both free throws.
And they have reset the clock to 3.2 seconds. And again, Carolina does have a timeout left.
And if Knipple does make both free throws, you could very well see John Shire foul in the backcourt to avoid any attempt running toward the basket.
And Knipple drains the first. 73-71.
Shire is going to put Patrick Gumba on the ball on a made free throw to try to disrupt.
He makes them both.
Gumba on the ball, try to disrupt any good look down the court.
3-point lead. Trimble getting a timeout immediately. 2.5 left.
Nice play by the Tar Heels. Great thinking by Hubert Davis to get it into the front court and set up something to see if he can get R.J. Davis a look to tie this game down 3.
Is there any doubt in your mind that maybe it's not R.J., it's somebody else? Maybe he decoys.
The third leading scorer in ACC history, the all-time leader in three-point field goals made. Last year's ACC Player of the Year. There's no doubt in my mind that's what they're going to try, but also John Shire knows that. So therefore, they're going to do everything that they possibly can to try to deny R.J. Davis an opportunity. But you can never discount that there may be a foul, but it has to be done strategically well to make sure you don't foul in the act of shooting, because whomever catches it, especially R.J. Davis, is going to be looking to fire as soon as he gets the basketball in his hands. A dangerous spot to try to foul a shooter, well, foul before they get into the act of shooting.
North Carolina needing a 3 to tie here in the last seconds, and again they reset the clock. So they pick up almost a half second more. 2.9 now for North Carolina.
Duke will put Gumba on the ball once again to try to disrupt a good pass. The tallest guy they have on the floor.
Looking to get it in. Here's the shot. That misfires off of the rim, and that's the ball game. Duke hangs on. They win it 74-71 and move on to the championship game.